Good evening, Vishwas. Good evening, Deepti. Hello, and good evening, everyone. So, today we have a session on current affairs, and this session is not for boom. This is not session for general current affairs. Here, the current affairs are basically related to your grade B syllabus of economy, social, and environmental related issues. Right. So for today, I have not means I'm not going to give you too much topic, but I will also cover the environment part. Right. Some environment basic related things I'm also going to explain because recently World Sustainable Development this conference was held in India. So I will incorporate that one and some basic economy related current affairs I'm going to cover in this session. Okay. So if you have any question before I'll start or proceed, if you have any question, just quickly ask me so that I can start if you do not have any question. This session you can consider as a rebooting because in past I have started but I was not able to do, but this time I'm going to do it more rigorous manner. If required, means today maybe session will be for 1 hour only, but in future if it is required more time, I will give them more time on Sundays. Good evening, Vivek. Okay, then I'm going to start. As I told you, this current affairs related to your banking economy related syllabus. Fine. So this news is basically for cryptocurrencies, right? So I have a question for you. In India, is crypto is considered as a currency or commodity? In India, I will provide Vivek PDF of last lecture. Only commodity. And is it accepted as a commodity also? Do government of India do government of India crypto as a commodity? Do government of India recognize as a commodity? Prachi is saying that ki yes sir because it is taxed. So if Prachi is holding lot of black money and she will be raided by income tax department, and income tax department will say that ki this is the money as a black money you have, so you have to pay some penalty and taxes. So is putting a tax and penalty on black money, is that black money is going to be the legal money if it is being taxed? So we do tax all those things which are legal, and even we do tax those things also which are illegal. And first of all, you will be taxed on those illegal things, assets or money, whatever you hold, plus criminal proceeding or civil proceeding will be initiated against you. So it's not like that if the thing is being taxed, it is legal. right? So there is no legal backing if you are being taxed. Means don't take this thing because it is clarified. Even I'll tell you honestly, I also was having this doubt. If the thing is being taxed, it is legal, but it is an explanation given by Nirmala Sitharaman herself. She explained it very elaborative manner. Even after her, many other finance ministry officials, minister, they have clarified. Don't think it is being taxed. It means because once the government has announced in the budget that we are going to tax the cryptos and we are going to tax with the 30% rate. So okay, 30% rate is too much, but at least you have legalized. So I am happy because it being legalized. I have no issues to pay the tax 30%. I will manage it, right? But at least you have recognized it. So government said that no. Don't take this thing ki we have legalized. We have set up a committee. There is a internal committee where the committee is having a discussion with various stakeholders to decide whether we have to legalize it or not. Number one. And we are definitely, if we are going to legalize it, we are going to legalize it as a commodity only, not a currency. That is for sure. You are not going to be recognized as a currency. Now, the question is whether it is going to be recognized as a commodity, and high chances yes they are going to be recognized as a commodity, but lot of legal if and buts will be put there to use it as a commodity. Number 3, once it will be a commodity or it is not going to be a commodity, but if you are holding the crypto assets, then you are going to be taxed by 30% rate, right? So this is the thing you should keep in your mind. Number 1. Now you have seen that there is a flooding of crypto related advertisement on various social media platform, right? Even on the electronic media, print media, you will find little ad, though there are the ads in the even the print media, but generally those kind of the ads who are misleading or they are hiding the right things, they generally prefer to use the social media and electronic media platform, because here things can be manipulated easily rather than the things which you have given in written, right? So this is why a lot of advertisement and a kind of misinformation or disguised information is given in those ads, right? So there is a ad watchdog known as ASCI in India, and this ASCI, that is Advertising Standard Council of India, and it is a self-regulatory body. Self-regulatory body means generally this body do not have any legal backing, right? So if you are going to not follow their orders, they do not have a power to penalize you. But yes, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Ministry of I&B, Information and Broadcasting, they take those things very seriously if the flag is raised by whom? If the flag is raised by Advertising Standard Council of India, if they are going to raise any flag against particular thing, and suppose that they have raised against flag me, you are not doing the right things, you are misleading through your platform. So if they are going to complain against me, they will send a letter to me and they will ask me to remove those things and add those things so that your people, means your audience, can be informed properly. And if I am going to ignore, then this ministry is going to take that issue very seriously, because the issue is going to be raised by Advertising Standard Council of India to Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Then you will be maybe severely punished, right? Because ministry is going to take legal actions, right? But still, in India, the advertisement industry, first of all, especially on the social media platform, the advertising must be need more stringent regulation. For example, edutech platforms. Recently, I have seen ad a small kid. He's somewhere around 6 to 7 years age, and he is just coming from one room to his study room, and he's saying that I don't need to go school, right? So I don't need to go school because I get all these things here only. So it is a misleading, right? It may be going to create a negative impact on the parents as well as kids also. And recently when the parliament session was held, this issue was raised. This issue was raised कि edutech companies are creating this nonsense and misleading things. Why nonsense? Because school cannot be replaced in any way, right? So saying this thing कि I need not to go school itself very wrong, right? So the issue was raised, and all edutech companies have formed a kind of group, and they are analyzing कि we must set the minimum standard for advertising, and it should not be misleading and misinforming, right? So in that context, this organization play an important role. What is the name of organization? Advertising Standard Council of India, and it is responsible for overseeing advertisements, promotions on various social media platform, including the electronic platform. Okay, is it clear? Any question or doubt in this regard? Otherwise, I will move further. Here, I have given some info about ASCI. It was established in 1985. It is being committed to protecting Indian consumers' interest through self-regulation of advertising. Self-regulation, right? Honesty, decency, no harmful, fair in competition. All these things they are going to analyze in your advertisement. Okay. I hope the two things means about ASI, anything means it's not very kind of crucial. Yes, maybe they can ask what is ASI in GA exam also, means in the stage one also. But about the crypto, you must be clear. About the crypto, the position should be very clear in your mind. What is the status of crypto right now? Maybe by next session, the status of crypto can be changed when government is going to introduce the bill. Actually, it was supposed to be introduced in this session only, but government has take it back. Maybe government need to work on those things, right? Because simultaneously RBI is also planning to introduce its own digital currency. So maybe some deliberation and discussion is further required because it's a very sensitive issue, right? And right now, crypto is like typical Hindi film kind of the scene where the people are seeing that some miscreants are doing wrong thing, but nobody is having a courage. Nobody is having a courage to stop them. So similarly, this thing happening in India, crypto business is going in very fast manner and have a tremendous growth in India. One of the fastest growing market of the cryptocurrencies in the world is India. But RBI saying that not my cup of tea. SEBI is saying that if it is not your cup of tea, why should I take it as a cup of tea? Ministry of Finance is confused कि हम क्या करें भाई. ठीक है, कुछ तो बोलो. ठीक है. सो वो राजपाल यादव का क्लासिक डायलॉग है, अरे हमको मारो सालो. ठीक है, in the movie Hangama. So it's like that crypto status in India like this only. कि everybody is pointing a fingers towards you कि this is not legal, this is legal, blah 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 and blah blah. But nobody is coming with the constructive guidelines कि this should be done. Neither by RBI, not by SEBI, not by the Ministry of Finance. Right? It's an irony. And in India, the business of crypto, right? The business of crypto is increasing with triple digit fold. Every year it is rising with a triple digit fold, right? So it's very uncommon that the market or the particular commodity which is increasing with the 3 digit growth rate, and still you do not came with the guidelines, you do not came with the regulations, and you are guessing and bluffing, right? So it's a kind of not means it should not be there. But it is not only India, same situation in the most of the country, and everybody is waiting कि you should take certain action, and on the basis of those action and reaction we will also formulate our action and reaction and action, right? So all over the world the same kind of the business is going on. Very few countries are there who has legalized crypto as a currency also, and they are those countries who generally are the greatest platform of money laundering. They are the platform as a money laundering. Why these fugitive businessmen will prefer to go to Cayman Islands or some Caribbean islands, or they prefer to go to Britain, right? So Britain is also a place from where you can take a shelter in the name of human rights, And while taking the shelter in the name of human rights through UK and UK banks, you can do the investments, each and everything. You can run your business and empire all over the world. I'll give you another example. For example, this Ukrainian and Russian conflict. You know that in British economy, one of the largest contributor in the British economy as a business tycoon, they are Russian businessmen. They have heavily invested in the property business, in the various kind of the business in UK and London. They are very powerful tycoons, right? So you are taking actions against Russia, right? You are taking action against those people, but you are soft with those people who ran away from that country and they are doing the business, the proxies from your land. So it is a truth for many uh, European countries as well as Caribbean island countries. So this happens, and we must take it as a what, a fact rather than getting emotional. Okay, any question? So during this war, crypto like Bitcoin surged nearly 13% as it was suggested either Russia will do business with the gold or crypto like Bitcoin. See, Vladimir Putin, former KGB officer, he was one of the finest officer of KBG, that was a secret service of Soviet Union, right? Right now they have FSB, but it work like KGB only, right? So he is a very clever man. He know his moves. He have his calculations, right? And the biggest thing which can cripple the Russian economy, against that action is still pending. Europe is largely dependent upon the oil and gas provided by the Russia, right? So there is no announcement against the Nord Stream gas pipeline. Nord Stream gas pipeline is there, which is going to connect the entire Europe from Russian gas field, so that you can get the gas supply from the Russia through the pipelines, and it is going to be very cheap in comparison to the gas and petroleum products shipped from ships, right? So the core thing of the Russian economy is their oil and gas business and some other proxies, right? Europe and America is not taking action against them. Why? If you will take action, then what is going to happen? The price is going to be shoot up of this oil and gas. Already Europe and America is suffering from what? High inflation. And in that high inflation case, if the fuel prices are going to be exorbitant, then it is going to cripple down your economy also. If you will hit me, then automatically you are also going to in pain. So it's like that. So whatever they are doing, they are kind of formality. To be very honest, they are kind of the formalities, and that was already means Vladimir Putin before going invasion, that he already estimated कि this kind of the extended action can be taken by Europe as well as America. Right. So the Ukrainian president has given a good speech and everybody was standing at ovation. That is fine, but you are not providing the help. Right. Even you have refused to make the area as a no-fly zone. Right. So what actually is happening compare with the economy? So Russians know that if they are going to be sanctioned, the main thing, oil and gas business, it is going to hurt them back. So with this all calculations, they have went for it. So they need not to worry too much, and they also have a good amount of foreign reserves also with themselves. So all these things. Yes, sir. And wheat also nearly 18% market share. Yes, right. So they know that. They know that ki if you are going to hurt me, you will be also going to be hurt automatically. And that is very powerful country in terms of military, right? Whatever the setback they are facing in the Ukraine, don't worry about that, because they are not in the full-fledged war. They are hitting the targets in the selective manner. War means what? I am not going to look who is civilian or who is what, right? For example, when 26/11 happened in India, right? So You know that one of the person, his name was Tahabur Rana. He was one of the person who assisted the perpetrators, of whom the perpetrators means all this recce in India about the targets was done by one of the person known as Tahabur Rana, right? And you know who is. And when the investigation was held against him, he said that I want to take a revenge with Indians. So people asked him, why you want to take the revenge? What India did wrong with you? So he said that during the 1965 war, I was about to go to school, right? And when I left for school, there was a bombing by Indian Air Force, and my entire family and my beloved younger brother was died. And I saw with my eyes, he was dying in front of me. So I have decided myself, I will take the revenge, right? So when war will happen in that manner, so that kind of the consequences maybe come up, right? So war, it is portrayed as a war, but actually it is a kind of military action, selective military actions. They are targeting only those areas where there is a armed forces, right? So they have not went for the full-fledged war against Ukraine till then. Now if they will go for full-fledged war, there will be the huge casualty in the Ukraine. Russia want to refrain themselves for this thing. They have set objective to dethrone the present president, so that there will be the change in the psyche of the Ukrainian people. This is the objective. Okay. So let's move to the next point, because if we will go further, it is going to be further and further discussion on this topic. But again, this next topic is related to that war only. And after having the analysis, maybe the white goods, see the red hot summer. So what red hot summer, everything, it's not our concern here. Our concern here is, what do you mean by white goods? What do you mean by white goods? So white goods are defined as what? White goods are defined as industry having air conditioners, refrigerators, washing machine, dryers, dishwasher, LED lights, and generally they are in white color, rather than having a Govinda kind of color combination. They generally have white basic color, right? So because they have this white basic color, that is why they are known as white goods, right? All electronic commodities which are household commodities, because generally they are painted in the white color, that is why they called it as a white goods. Now how this white goods are very crucial for India. You can see the data here. Indian appliances and consumer electronics market is of $10.93 billion. $10.93 billion means somewhere around 4.5 lakh crores, right? So it's a huge market. Domestic manufacturing in Indian appliances and consumer electronics contribute 4.16 billion. So total market is 10.93 billion, and out of that, contribution of Indian economy means whatever the electronic goods are being manufactured in India, it $4.61 billion. Why? Why not? It's huge. Whereas if you look the same ratio for the Thailand, Malaysia kind of the country, so their consumer market is like this. If you look for those tiger economies, the economies of South Asian countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, if you will see their business, especially, you will find that if their market size, if this, right, if their market size like this, actually their overall domestic manufacturing like $9 billion. And these are the hubs where basically electronic products are manufactured, because there are the certain centers like Taiwan, Malaysia, where the semiconductor industry was flourished in last 20 years. And when India faced this crisis in last 6 months or 1 year, in the electronic field or in any other field, due to the semiconductor, right? So the Indian government want the semiconductor should be constructed or manufactured in India only, so that this white good market can be also further expanded. Why? Because many of the manufacturer don't want to come to India. They are intended, they want to come to India, but they know that for semiconductor we have to import from other countries only, and that is going to a huge cost for us. If each and everything, including the semiconductor, is going to be available in India, then definitely we are going to have our business hub in India. Recently, Vedanta Group, led by Anil Agarwal, they have committed to spend, means have an investment of around $6 to $7 billion in India for the semiconductor manufacturing. Right. So this white goods, semiconductor industry, all these things are related. Okay. And for white goods, you can see that 100% FDI is permitted. Okay. One more thing. It is highly concentrated industry where top 5 players market share is 75%. Right. So it's a kind of oligopoly market. What is oligopoly market? Just giving you the brief. What is oligopoly market? I'll explain you here. Basic, you should know that. That's why I'm explaining you here. One is perfect market, and other category is imperfect market. What is market? Place where buyer and sellers meet for the purpose of selling, purchasing. Not for chit chat or having a tea, they will meet in the market for the purpose of selling and purchasing. So, one is a perfect market, imperfect market, and imperfect market further we categorize as monopoly, monopolistic, and third is oligopoly. First, monopoly. Monopoly means single seller. Single seller. For example, Indian Railways. So passenger services, though there are some private trains also, but if you will look overall, the Indian Railways have monopoly to do their railway business in India. So there is only single player who is going to provide you the good and services which you can purchase it from there. If you do not convince with the railways, then you have to convince with IRCTC at least. If you want to go for the railway reservation, there is no other platform. Whosoever is saying that we also provide the railway reservation, finally they will transfer you to the IRCTC website. So IRCTC have a complete monopoly over the railway reservations in India. Right. So when there is a single seller market, then it is a monopoly. When there are many players, but everyone have unique features. Everyone have their unique feature. For example, in mobile phone market there are many players and they are saying that what my mobile phone is coming with the 100-watt capacity of the charger. We can charge your phone in 5 minutes. Our phone have the 100 megapixel camera, right? Our phone have 400 megapixel camera, washing machine, television, each and every facility we are providing in our mobile phone. So they are highlighting the unique feature of their product. So when there is a market and seller is trying to sell their product with the unique feature, then it is known as what? Then it is known as monopolistic market. When there are few number of sellers, they are selling similar product. There are few number of sellers and they are selling similar product. Few number of sellers selling similar product, then it is an oligopoly. For example, toothpaste. यू कैन से दैट कि सर देयर इज एडवर्टीजमेंट कि हमारे टूथपेस्ट में नमक है. ठीक है, अरे भाई सारे टूथपेस्ट में नमक होता है. एवरी टूथपेस्ट हैज सोडियम क्लोराइड, सो एवरी टूथपेस्ट हैव अ सॉल्ट. बट दे नो दैट कि they do not have any unique feature. So with the branding and advertisement, they try to portray they have certain unique feature. So a lot of advertisement is being done to disguise the people. But generally, there are only few sellers in this market. So whenever you will see the few sellers and they are selling the similar goods, you can identify it as a oligopoly. Now the perfect market. Perfect market is what? For example, a market where there is a similar and identical goods are being sold. There are, suppose that there is a hospital, big hospital, for example, government hospital, and nearby this government hospital, there are many medical shops, right? There are many medical shops and they are selling similar and identical goods. So this is an example of what? Perfect market, because each and every one is selling similar and identical goods. I hope this short and crisp explanation is sufficient, right? Oligopoly, sometimes it's create a problem, because if there are only few players, they create a cartel and they start exploiting the consumers, right? So this is why oligopoly kind of the market is always under scanner. Means mutually Reliance Jio and Airtel and Vodafone decided that we are going to increase the price by 10%. Then you have left with only one option. भाई साहब नहीं लगेगा, sorry, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, right? So you left with the only one option. Most of the people are going to reject that option because they want better services, and BSNL is not able to provide the better and quality services. So they want quality services. For that, they want to go with Vodafone, Jio, or Airtel. Earlier, Jio said that our price are less than Airtel and Voda. Right, so they are competing with each other. They have decided that okay, rather than competing with each other, we will cooperate with each other and let's exploit the people. So they increase their pricing, right? So in that case, what is going to happen? You are left with the choice. So there is always a high chance of creating a cartel, right? So that is why there is a CCI, Competition Commission of India, and they are going to look over the price rise. Why you have increased the price? Is your operational cost is increased? If they are going to found that key just to exploit the market, you have increased your price just for the purpose of exploitation. If they will study and found that you have did that thing, then you will be punished, right? So this is why it is very important to know oligopoly in context of Competition Commission of India. I hope this is clear. Vishwas Arya, yes sir. 76,000 crore PLI scheme for the semiconductor also. Yes, semiconductor PLI scheme. Any question? No questions? Okay, fine. So let's move to another thing. RBI reserves right to time policy normalization. This is the statement of RBI's Deputy Governor Michael Patra. माइकल पात्रा जी ने अभी रिसेंटली स्टेटमेंट दिया कि वी रिजर्व द राइट, इट इज द राइट ऑफ आरबीआई टू गो फॉर पॉलिसी नॉर्मलाइजेशन, because he was asked by many enthusiasts, right, great enthusiasts, Indian media industry. They are asking ki Europe, Asia, like Japan, Britain, France, US, all they are tightening their monetary policy. They are increasing the interest rate in order to control inflation, right? So all these countries have taken recent measures. Whether it is US Federal Reserve, they have increased the interest rate in order to control the inflation, right? Britain has also taken the decision. Japan has taken the decision. So many countries have taken the decision in order to curb the inflation. And in India, the rate of inflation is going above 6. It is like 6.64, like that, right? But still RBI has hold the rates, right? What is the normalization means in this context? I will explain you, but first try to understand. Still RBI has not increased the interest rate, right? RBI has not increased the interest rate, and RBI is still having this idea in the mind that still inflation is under control or can be controlled easily, and they are more focused to help the government in order to come out of the recessionary kind of the thing which India was facing during the corona phase. And more RBI is helping to government to what? Recover, right? So when you are helping someone, right, for example, you are in train and it's a festival rush and you are sitting on your seat and you saw that the person is standing, तो आपने इंडियन स्टाइल में बोला भाई साहब आ जाओ आप भी थोड़ा सा, we can adjust, you can have sit here for at least a while, right? So you become accommodative. When you become accommodative, when you understand others problem are also important apart from your problem, right? Similarly, RBI's problem is what? RBI is intended to control the inflation, right? So if RBI is going to be what? Showing the normal behavior. Like you are going to show your normal behavior what? I have taken this reservation for means in 2 months in advance I did this reservation and I am sitting on my seat. If person is standing and he do not have a confirmed reservation, so that is not my problem, right? I did my work in advance, so I'm not bothered with that who is standing or who is lying on the floor. It's not my concern. It is a concern of that person or the government of India or the railways. It's not my concern. So you are behaving normally. It's your normal behavior. It's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But you himself feel that no, I can accommodate, right? So similarly, RBI have two kind of the policy stand. One is normal policy stand, means RBI is going to act according to the situation. What is the situation? Situation is to control inflation. So whatever the measure is required, RBI will do if inflation is going out of the comfort zone. So if RBI is going to increase the interest rate right now because inflation is just moving out of comfort zone. So if RBI is going to behave in such a manner, we will call it as a normalization by the RBI, in the normalization, right? But RBI is accommodating with what? Government's agenda of doing what? Government's agenda to control, so sorry, to support the growth, right? So that is why what stand RBI has taken right now, we have called it as a accommodative stand. Accommodative. And I have given you the fine example. I hope I have given you the fine example to understand what is the difference between normalization and what is the difference between a normalization and accommodative stand. If you don't know the economy and you have not studied even what you have not studied even the banking and financial part, no need to worry, just understand in order to control inflation we have to increase the interest rate so money supply can be reduced, and if money is not going to be available then people are not going to demand, and if the demand will increase price will be little bit slow down, right? So this is why RBI have to increase or decrease the interest rate in order to control the inflation, right? So this is the basic thing. I hope this explanation is sufficient. Is it okay? Sufficient? Okay. Now let's move to another thing. This needs some basic understanding, but still it is fine. It is fine if you do not have the proper knowledge about what thing. I'll briefly let you know. Then I'll come with this thing. RBI specified NBFCs must implement core financial services solution. Core financial services solution. So here the news is about NBFC, and they must have to implement core financial services solution. So if you have not heard this name, but I hope you have heard this name, core banking solution. Core banking solution. Which was something like that. Something like that. I was expecting Bipul's answer. पिक्चर क्लियर नहीं दिख रही है. विच पिक्चर? दिस वन? Okay, if it is not clear, don't worry. Don't worry. If you are means maybe you are watching in the mobile, maybe there is a issue, right? Don't worry. I will share this PDF. I will share this PDF. So Vikul, what is CBS core banking solution? Can anyone explain in one line core banking solution? Vikul, I'm also worried about that thing because it is almost 3 days. But I tell you very honestly, I'm not getting a single minute for me even means lot of work is pending and some NABARD interviews already going on. Some candidates are appearing in the NABARD interview, so I'm little bit busy with that one. And some urgent requirement was for this SEBI candidates who are going to appear on 20th of March for that. So this is why I'm little bit lagging to do that thing. But as I promise, I will do that. No, see, if you want to explain a layman what is core banking solution, how you are going to explain what is a core banking solution? In the very simple language, you can say that when a particular banks all of the branch, when a particular banks all of the branch are working in the synchronization through a particular network, we can call it as a core banking system. Because when the core banking solution was not there, it's very difficult to withdraw the money from other branch of your same bank, right? But through the core banking solution kind of the services, all of the branches of a particular bank got connected through internet services or internal servers. So this is one of the basic foundation of core banking solution. Later on, they have connected with the system, with the phone banking system, mobile banking system, all other things related, all the activities of bank are being connected with that system. So this is the very simple and easiest example of core banking solution, right? And this terminology core banking solution and its guidelines are specific for scheduled commercial banks in India, right? So this terminology are being used for scheduled commercial bank, scheduled cooperative bank, on all banking companies in India. So if you are registered in India as a banking company, you must follow this core banking solution kind of the services, right? But in the recent past, NBFCs, specifically in India, NBFCs, non-banking financial companies. Now, what are the non-banking financial companies? Right. Those companies who are working like a bank, but they are not registered as a banking company, number one. Number two, few things are restricted. Means the things which are only available to the banks, they are not available to them. For example, issuing the check and draft, right? So this facility is exclusively for the bank, not for the non-banking financial companies. So you are functioning as a bank, but all the functionalities or banking activities not provided by you, then you will be regarded as a non-banking financial companies, and your work may be vary, right? Your work and your profile may be vary on different basis, so you will be categorized as non-banking financial company. I'm just giving very layman explanation, right? Because maybe some people are there who don't know proper about the NBFC, so that's why I'm giving very simple explanation. Then I will come to the important point also. So same kind of the networking system is required. RBI said that the same way the banks are providing the core banking solution, all NBFC, especially NBFC in the middle layer and NBFC in the upper layer with 10 or more fixed point of services delivery units shall mandatory required to implement this what core banking solution. Same thing is what core financial services solution. For banking company, it is core banking solution. For the NBFC, it is regarded as core financial services solution. So terminology and the functioning, terminology is a little bit different, core banking solution versus core financial services solution. But the way of working or the fundamental principle is remain same. You should make sure that the customer of yours, if you are a big NBFC, then your customer should not face any difficulty when he want to do the transaction of the business in other branch than his home branch, then other branch of the same NBFC. So make sure this thing, RBI has given the guideline, you must implement that thing by 30th of September 2025. And for that, banks need NBFCs need more time. So in this context, maybe that news may be not asked, but you must know that what is the criterion to be a middle layer NBFC or upper layer NBFC. For that, I have this data for you. Regulatory, this data I have taken from the Reserve Bank of India website, so it's a most authentic data, right? So in that authentic data, regulatory structure of NBFC, they have categorized in 4 layers. If you are not able to see it properly, is further expansion is not possible of it. But whatsoever I am underlining or I'm highlighting, I am also giving in the audio also. So just please focus on this part. Sir, on RBI website, it is mentioned that NBFCs are regulated under the Company Act 1956, but it is being amended in 2003. So what we should say while explaining? You should say the same. Company Act was amended, my dear. Company Act was amended. It was Company Act. Means under the Act, they are registered as a company. That Act was changed. Earlier, it was Company Act 1956 and it was amended. So Company Act was amended. But NBFC are still companies. They are registered as a company. You can say repeat the same statement. They are registered as a company under the Company Act 2013. You can say it directly, no issues, right? So they are companies. They are financial companies. They are basically you have to register as a, even banks must be registered under this Company Act. So first they will register as a company, then they are going to be get the license from the RBI to run a bank, right? So the license will be given by the RBI to function as a NBFC or function as a bank or function as a financial company or function as a fintech. All these licenses are being provided by whom? RBI. But first you must register as a company. So first you have to register as a company. Later on, the topmost status we are going to give you as a banking company or NBFC company. So basically you are a company. Okay. So 4 layers are there for NBFC to define NBFC. One is the base layer, then it is a middle, upper middle, upper layer, and then top layer. So base, middle, upper, and top layer, and they are being classified as a base layer if their asset size is non-deposit taking NBFC below having the size of 1000 crore, right? Middle layer, all deposit irrespective of asset size. Whatever is your asset size, it doesn't matter. But if you are a deposit taking NBFC, then you will be defined as middle layer. What? Middle layer NBFC. Now for the upper layer shall comprise of all those NBFCs which are specifically identified by the Reserve Bank of India as a warranting enhanced regulatory requirement based on set of parameters and scoring method. Means when you will be defined as a upper layer, so there is no set criteria ki if you are qualified this thing, then automatically you will come. It is going to be decided by whom? It is going to be decided by the Reserve Bank of India to give you the status of upper layer. Similarly, the top layer will be ideally remain empty. This layer cannot be populated if the RBI is on the opinion that there is a substantial increase in the potential of systematic risk from a specific NBFC in the upper layer. So, if first of all they have created the base layer, and in base layer there must be non-depositing NBFCs. They must not taking the deposits, only then you will be put in the base layer, right? They are all non-depositing in the base layer, but their asset size should be 1000 crore. Next is middle layer, where all deposit taking NBFCs must be there. All deposit. And once you start taking deposit, once you will start taking deposit, you are just providing the lending only. But once you will start providing what? Once you will start providing the deposit services, that means what? The vulnerable section is going to be what? On the risk. Why? If you are giving the loans, if you are giving just loans, so you are at higher risk. But once you will start taking the deposit, so apart from you, the people who are depositing their money in your organization, they are also going to be on higher risk side. So in that case, you should be more responsible, and you must have to behave more responsibly. With more responsibility, that's why they have created what they have created, a separate layer known as middle layer, right? After that there is an upper layer. Upper layer means what? Ki you are a big organization of accepting the deposits, right? You are accepting the deposit at very large level. So that means what? You are taking, earlier you were just providing the loans, now you have started giving the deposit and you are taking deposits at very large scale. That means the risk is rising. So RBI can set certain guidelines, right? And when that risk is going to be certainty of the risk. See, sometimes there is a less certainty of the risk, and sometimes there is a high certainty of the risk factor, right? वो मिर्जापुर का डायलॉग ना, रिस्क तो है इसमें भी. So what he was saying in that dialogue, that was low possibility of the risk, right? If you have not watched that series, you can take any example. For example, if you will drive, there is a chance of accident. If you will drive, there is a chance of accident, right? If you are going to drunk and then drive, then there is a certainty of kind of risk, right? So in two cases, one, if you are driving, yes, there is a risk of there is an accident. But if you are driving under the influence of alcohol, then there is a high certainty of an accident, right? So there is a police deployment on the streets. They will check by sa phuk maro, ठीक है, means just breathe and we will calculate ki how much in alcohol you have consumed or you have not consumed. So there is certain action is required to contain that kind of the risk, right? So same way in the banking sector, when there is a high certainty of the risk, for banking companies, RBI has the set of the guidelines. Similarly, they have set the guidelines for what? The non-banking financial company sector, and they have layered it in the upper layer. And if there is a high risk, then you will be put under the top layer, right? So generally there is a possibility, right? Generally there is a possibility, but when it is going to certain, you will be put under that category, right? For those students who don't know the core banking solution, right? For those people who means they do not have a knowledge, I have created this PDF. Means I'll tell you very honestly, my dear, I have not created this thing. I have just copied from some source, but that source was authentic source and proper source. Only then I copy, right? I don't want to do this thing because I do not like this thing, means copying and pasting, right? But sometimes it is also required so that it will be more easy for you. If I will start explaining this core banking solution kind of the thing, then it is going to take too much time. And I already explained you the concept of core banking. What is the concept of core banking? So if you will read those things, it is going to be very easy for you. You can already read that thing. So that is why copy and paste is there for your easiness. रिस्क है तो इश्क है। मिलो बेटा, तुम बताते हैं, तुम्हारा सारा इश्क का भूत निकालते हैं। गवर्नमेंट जॉब है तो सब है। बाकी आप समझदार हो। Okay. So I will share this PDF. I hope I will share the PDF with Ashok ji, and either I or Ashok ji, we are going to upload in the Telegram channel. You can take it from there. Just read those things. What is the minimum feature of the core banking solution? It is not very complicated. Just few things you just go through and have an idea. Even if you are not able to remember all these things, that's fine. But at least you can go through and have some more idea on it. Okay. Sir, one suggestion, please cover the financial news and RBI circulars of revision purpose for last 6 months. RBI circulars, अरे RBI daily 2-3 circular निकालता है. Right? It's going to be a little bit difficult, but okay. Suggestion is going to be taken seriously. Financial news. I'm trying to cover the financial news regarding RBI circulars. Sometimes those circulars are very technical in the nature. So you need not to go with the every circular. Only few circulars are important for aspirant, right? Like economic survey and budget. So that is not being published for the RBI Grade B aspirant. That is published by the government of India for to achieve certain objectives which are predefined. That is not for the RBI Grade B student. But RBI do ask certain things from that exam, means certain kind of the document of budget and economic survey. So you can go through in the selective manner. But each and every graph, for example, student are unnecessarily putting the pressure. Even the civil services aspirant, they are unnecessarily putting, sir, economic survey का वो graph. अरे भाई नहीं पूछेगा आपसे graph. क्या बात कर रहे हो आप? Why you are talking in the nonsense manner? Why you are worried about the graph? They are not going to ask you the graph, and even if they are going to ask, nobody is going to answer. Certain questions are the good ball which you must have to leave, like the cricket ball. When it is new and shining, sometimes you must leave that ball. So similarly, there are some questions, they are being there to just pressurize you, right? So you need not to worry. So similarly, all the circulars of RBI are not very important, but yes, it's a good idea to cover important circulars. I will try. Grade B, we can only. चलो अब ये इश्क उश्क हटाओ यहाँ से और फोकस ऑन द लेक्चर ओनली. This data I have taken from the newspaper, right, where they have mentioned this was the business line newspaper and they have put this data here. Data is not very important. Again, I was telling you data is not very important, but in this article they have mentioned few technical term which you must know, right? First, what is bank credit, right? Bank credit. Another term you must know is credit growth. What is credit growth, right? Another term you should know is credit deposit ratio. Credit deposit ratio. Another term is cost of fund, not entire, cost of fund, credit to deposit ratio, credit growth, and what is bank credit. These are the few terms you must know, right? And there is a credit growth in the country. In recent years, there is a credit growth in the country. That's why you must know this thing. So that is why I have incorporated all this thing here. Just give me a second. So the lending services provided by the bank is known as bank credit. Whatever the credit or money is given by the bank for the purpose of lending and other thing, so it is known as bank credit. Right. Now another term is used here is credit growth. Credit growth means last year you have given the loan of, right, last year you have given the loan of 100 rupees. This year you have given the loan of how much? 107. Then your credit growth is how much? 7%. The credit growth is how much? The credit growth is 7%. Fine. So in that way we define the credit growth. But the most important term here is credit to deposit, credit to deposit ratio, and cost of the fund. So anyone can throw the light. What is the cost of the fund? Press release also means fundamentally what RBI is doing anything related. I think everything can be covered. When I will cover, I will not just focus on the press release or something like circular. Whatever is important, I can cover. That is a good idea. I can do that thing. Means I am going to incorporate in the weekly current affairs, finance related current affairs. I will do that thing. And last 6 months is going to too much. I think from the date of the exam, whenever the RBI is going to announce the date of the exam for RBI Grade B, from that date, last 4 months current affairs. Suppose that date is going to be what? Date is going to be right now. We are in March, April. Maybe on 1st May. Maybe on 1st May. So if they are going to on 1st May, then in that case, we can cover from January, February, March, April. Last 4 months is going to be sufficient. Okay. The interest gain from the credit to acquire the fund. Little sir, currently I am grade B. I am RBI grade B. Sir, please tell when DSE open its application form. My dear, I honestly do not have an idea when they are going to open that form. I cannot answer this question. See, I'm very bad in these things. Even I do not pay too much attention all these things. I tell you very honestly, I do not pay too much attention on these things when they are going to, because it is beyond my control. And only they can decide, and I do not have any direct touch or contact with those kind of the people, right? So because of that, I don't want to do the predictions, because most of the time my predictions are going to, I'm a kind of guy, if I am going without ticket in the train, definitely I will be caught. So that's why I am little bit afraid of doing all these things, doing the predictions and all, because I know that even if I'm thinking that is going to happen, maybe that is going to happen. But if I will say to you, this is going to happen, for example, I have just given the date, maybe RBI is going to conduct the grade B exam on this 1st of the May. I have announced that. So I know that my prediction is definitely going to wrong. Right. So this is why, my dear, I generally do not have this kind of the idea. Okay. So I have asked this question, cost of the fund to acquire the fund. Any other answer? So suppose that bank have deposit of 100 rupees. Bank have deposit of 100 rupees. So bank can give the credit of 100 rupees. Bank have the deposit of 100 rupees, and but there is a demand of credit of 200 rupees in the market. There is a demand of 200 rupees, but bank have a deposit of this 100 rupees. Okay, so bank has borrowed some more 100 rupees from RBI, right? And then they lend this 200 rupees. So the 100 rupees they received from whom? They received from Reserve Bank of India. Then they must pay the interest to the Reserve Bank of India. So suppose that they are going to pay 4% interest to the Reserve Bank of India, right? Whereas the deposit they have taken, they have to pay 5% of interest to the depositors. So this 4%, that means 4 rupees and plus 5 rupees on the deposits you have to pay. This is one of your cost of fund. The money which you have acquired for the purpose of lending, against that money, whatever the cost you have to pay, that is known as cost of credit. I hope this is clear. If it is clear, then I will move forward. So quickly just let me know. I hope you understand what is the cost of the fund. The cost paid by the banks in order to get the money to lend. I want to lend the money, but I do not have a money, or I have taken the deposit. So against those deposits, I have to pay the interest. I have taken the deposit of 100 rupees from the people, right? And I want to lend 200 rupees. So I have taken 100 rupees deposit, but I want to lend 200 rupees. So that 100 rupees I am going to lend, plus I have borrowed 100 rupees more from the Reserve Bank of India in order to lend that money to the people, right? So people are going to pay to whom which I have given this loan of 200 rupees, they are going to pay me the 10% interest, suppose. So they are going to repay me 20 rupees. So I can say that 20 rupees is my profit. No, 20 rupees is the money I have received in terms of what? In terms of interest from my to whom I have lent that money. Okay, but that 200 rupees, that 200 rupees which I have lent, out of that 200, 100 is the contribution of depositors, and I have to return their money at a certain point of time with interest. So suppose that I have decided to give the interest of how much? 5% to them. So out of this 20, I have to return 5, and I have borrowed 100 rupees from RBI at the interest of 4%. So I have returned RBI that money with interest. So out of 20, 9 is going to be as a cost of lending, right? So this is the cost of lending. Sir, I have lost the 12th standard passing certificate, original one. I have the Xerox only. Do I need original document for verification? Yes, my dear. If you do not have right now, you can have an affidavit. Best thing is you can file a police complaint regarding the loss of the document and create an affidavit. They may be asked. So you must have that document. If you do not have a document, then in that case, what you can do, you can go for this thing, kind of affidavit that is required. Okay. Now the cost of fund is explained. The credit to deposit ratio. So suppose that I have taken the deposit of 100 rupees. Okay, I have taken the deposit of 100 rupees, and out of that 100 rupees, I have lent 75. Right? I have lent 75. You can see there. It is 72.5% improving from the fortnight basis point. So how much I am lending out of the deposit which I have received, that shows credit to deposit ratio. Okay, that shows what is credit to deposit ratio. Fine. Okay, fine. So it's too late right now. I hope in the short session that was little bit productive, but it was a short session. In next session I will incorporate more news and I'll give more time on the next Sunday. Okay, so it's time to wind up the session. It's too late right now. It's 10:45, so I'm winding up this session. Okay, in next session means I will incorporate all other news related to the finance related current affairs. Okay. Thank you, Vikul. Thank you, everyone, for being in this session. Even it's for too late. So I'm winding up it up. Okay. Good night.